Fiancé told me he had a surprise for me and drove me to a house, and set was ours. Let me believe it, and then set was a prank. We were out looking at Christmas lights tonight when my fiancé said he had a surprise for me. He usually isn't great with surprises, so I was intrigued. We drove a ways and pulled up to this house. Mind you, it's nighttime. It's a gorgeous house, with a sign in the yard. He asked, "What do you think of this house?" I've been dying to move out of my cramped one-bedroom apartment, so I'd literally move into a medium-sized shack if I had a chance. I told him it was very pretty. He said, "What do you see in the yard?" And I told him I saw a for sale sign, and then he told me to look again and pulled back. The sign said, "Under contract." It started to click in my head, and I had started to get really excited. He let me sit in my excitement for a while before I asked, "Is this our house?" And he started laughing and said, "Nope," and drove away. Am I overreacting? I haven't stopped crying. That was one of the cruelest things I think I've ever had done to me by someone I love and trust. Some of OP's comments. Commenter, not overreacting. If this was a one-off and it just really fell flat, then I think I could let it go. But if this is a pattern where he often pulls pranks that are cruel, not funny, then I couldn't be with someone like that. OP, first cruel prank other than an occasional jump scare here and there, and we both try to spook each other. I can't even fathom how incredibly unkind it was. Commenter, how old are you both? I'm curious. It's totally shitty at any age. Op, 24 and 26. Could he even afford it? He most definitely can afford it. Top comment. Commenter, we do not marry people who are mean to us. Please tell this person you were only kidding when you said yes to the proposal. AIO does not have a consensus bot, but most responses told OP she's not overreacting. Update post, 2.5 months later. I posted this back around Christmas time, and you guys had a lot to say. I just wanted to come back and say that, as of yesterday, the wedding is off. He started to show some very negative tendencies that lean towards abuse. Thank you guys for your support. This is not easy. One of OP's comments. Commenter, the political climate is bringing out the worst in people, but on the bright side, we're seeing their true colors. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but your respect and trust with him will never be fully restored no matter how many apologies are made. Ditch the boy. Real men don't try to emotionally manipulate their partners. OP, underneath the screenshot, I said that I have officially ended the engagement. And yes, you're right, unfortunately what really started showing his true colors was a disagreement over politics. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my father's girlfriend that the more she talks about Jesus, the less she'll see my child? For context, I, 26 female, come from a Catholic family, but my parents decided not to raise me and my siblings as such, my father due to a crisis of faith he had years ago, and my mother because she hated practicing it. We were all baptized for our grandparents' sakes, but nothing beyond that. We never prayed, didn't have any first communions, and didn't read the Bible. I didn't even set foot in a church until I was 14. I'm very grateful for that upbringing. Today, I'm agnostic, and I don't have a great relationship with the church. My husband's family is also Catholic, but he doesn't practice it. Our first child was born earlier this month, and we decided to raise him without religion. Neither of our extended families cared much, but we've been having some trouble with a few people over it. My father has been dating a Christian woman for 6 years. I'll admit I don't like her, but I don't dislike her either. Before I got pregnant, she wasn't the preachy type to me, at least. She wasn't happy when I told her I was agnostic, but didn't try to change my mind. She did talk about her religion a lot and kept trying to get my father to engage with it frequently, but not much beyond that. Soon after I announced my pregnancy, my husband and I had dinner with my father and his girlfriend, during which she told us she knew the perfect place for the baptism. We said we weren't planning on baptizing our baby. And from that moment, she got annoyingly preachy to me and my husband. It was mostly indirect stuff, such as giving the whole family speeches about how glad she was to have Jesus in her life, but some were impossible to mask as unrelated. She gave me a decorative cross for the nursery on my baby shower, tried to make us all say grace during Christmas dinner, which we've never done before with or without her, and kept bringing up a priest friend of hers who just so happened to also do baptisms. My husband and I stood by our decision. Fast forward to now, our baby was born a couple weeks early. He was pretty much full term, but we were all still worried. He's perfectly healthy, and we're all doing well. Yesterday, my father and his girlfriend came over to see the baby. While I was telling them about my labor and how it was at the hospital, she told me she had been praying for us the whole time, and that we should all praise Jesus for giving us such a beautiful blessing as my son. Unrelated to her previous preachiness or not, I lost whatever patience I had. I said, you know what? I'm done. The more you talk about Jesus and religion and whatever, the less you'll see my child. She was quiet the rest of the visit. After they left, my father called me. He told me he understood I was frustrated, but I shouldn't have been so rude to his girlfriend. He told me her intentions were pure, and she was only behaving like this because of how important religion was to her. I don't think I'm in the wrong for my feelings, but I am worried I was too rude. Am I the a-hole? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, NTA. Maybe remind your dad what's important to you. She can have her faith, but when she starts pushing that on others, that's her crossing boundaries. OP, my father tends to humor her when it comes to these things, which kind of surprises me, because she pushes her faith onto him more than onto us. I'm obviously okay with him doing that for himself, but not when it extends to me and my siblings. Commenter 2, NTA. This is an important boundary to set. It would be no different if she was constantly stating that the child should be taught about Scientology. If people want to belong to a cult, that's up to them, but children should not be indoctrinated into these things. OP, I live in a very religious country, so I'm not sure I'd go around calling anything a cult, but I do think children should be taught to form their own opinions. I'm very grateful my parents raised me the way they did. Commenter 3, don't leave your baby alone with her. The kid is getting a kitchen sink baptism at the first chance. I know they aren't considered legit, but it won't stop her. OP, I wouldn't leave my baby alone with my father, a bit lazy, low attention span and sleeps a lot, so I wouldn't leave him alone with her either. Commenter 4, NTA. Hi Dad, whilst I respect her religion is important to her, hence why I haven't spoken up sooner, she needs to respect that her beliefs mean nothing to me. I stand by what I said and any further preaching/hints will result on her being banned from our home indefinitely. Pass it on, I'm not playing. Update 1 week later. Hey folks. Update time. This might get a little long. I showed my post, along with your comments and my replies, to my husband. He told me he agreed I had been rude to my father's girlfriend, but thought she had pushed me to the point in which I had no other choice. He was actually surprised I lasted so long without saying anything. For the record, I'm not opposed to religion or to Catholicism. I have religious friends, I've seen God spell, and I've visited churches without catching fire. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been to was the Metropolitan Cathedral in Brasilia. I've managed to endure preachiness for short periods of time. I'm just not religious. There are many reasons why I don't have a good relationship with the church, most of which I'm not comfortable sharing. I will say that I have been agnostic since I was a teenager, and people have been trying to tell me I'm wrong and I need to be Christian or Catholic for longer than that. I also live in a very religious country, which never helped my case. I have always loathed people who obsessively preach about their faith to others. I find it incredibly disrespectful and hypocritical. I wouldn't run around telling people what I think as an agnostic, and I expect my acquaintances to do the same. Sometimes you need to be an asshole to get your point across. I wish I'd understood that sooner. I think I downplayed how stressful it was to deal with my father's girlfriend's behavior during my pregnancy. Everything happened a lot quicker than I expected. On Monday, my older brother informed me our father and his girlfriend had told him about what happened, apparently expecting him to take their side. He took mine, and they ended up having a short fight. I decided to sort this out with my father before it also extended to my sister. A couple days ago, my husband and I called my father and his girlfriend to talk about the subject. I told her that as much as I appreciate how much she seems to care about our son, both me and my husband are uncomfortable with the way she's been trying to push her faith onto our family. We don't want to raise our son as well as any other kids we have in the future with religion, and we expect the people who will be part of his life to respect that. I told her that moving forward, we wouldn't accept any religious gifts, crosses, Virgin Mary figurines, etc., wouldn't entertain any attempts to make us pray or say grace, and would shut down any speeches about accepting Jesus into our hearts. My husband counted 7 in December alone. No more hinting that we should baptize our child, either. She is free to pray for us if she wants, but we don't want to know about it. We will respect her faith as long as she respects our boundaries. She remained quiet while I said all of this. When I finished, she asked, "Can't you at least put the cross I gave you in his room?" Not gonna lie, that was one of the most frustrating things I'd heard someone say to me in a while. My husband nearly lost his patience. I replied with, "This is exactly what we're talking about. No, the answer has always been no, and will always be no. And if you keep refusing to accept that, we will restrict your access to our son. It's that simple." We didn't talk much after that. She apologized, and we said we forgave her. Then we said our goodbyes. Later that day, my sister went to their place, and she said my father's girlfriend was very quiet and seemed upset. My father called me on his own yesterday, and we talked a little more about this. He did try to defend his girlfriend a bit, and if I had a coin for every time he said, "It's just how she is," I'd be very rich, but he mostly focused on apologizing to me. I accepted it. His girlfriend also texted me with another apology. She sounded more sincere this time. I told her I don't want her to think I'm doing this out of disrespect for her religion. I simply don't share her beliefs. She told me she understood. And this is it. I don't think this is over, but I feel like I've wasted more than enough energy for now. Part of me is still hopeful this will die its own death. Unless my father's girlfriend tries holy waterboarding me sometime soon, I won't update again. My son is happy, healthy, and loved. That's all I care about right now. Thank you guys. I wish you all well. Top comments. Commenter 1. It's just how she is. And this is just how you are. Their only options are to accept it or stay away. Commenter 2. Attempting to convert anyone to a religion is, and should be regarded as rudeness. It is making an explicit claim that your belief, whatever it is superior to theirs. And that's shockingly rude. Yet religious people do this all the time, and we let them do it. So much so that they get shocked any time they receive the reception their rudeness deserves. Commenter 3. Holy waterboarding. OP. Gotta give my brother credit for that one. Commenter 4. I think you handled this really well. You were respectful but clear. She should get it now. She certainly has no excuse not to, but I'd still be monitoring for crosses hidden under the crib. Story 3. Am I the jerk for taking my friend to court after she kicked me out of the bridal party for cutting my hair? My best friend is getting married this June, and I am one of the bridesmaids. Her bridesmaid trip is set for end of May in Chicago. We will be driving there, and it's over 4 days. However, I don't want to attend the trip anymore. We have booked the Airbnb, which was $176 per person, and I paid my portion. Her demands from us for a wedding have gotten out of hand. Her wedding is over 3 days, and we have 3 different bridesmaids' dresses, which have cost me $700, and it costs $200 to get them altered. Makeup for the weekend is $225 per person, and I haven't even got my shoes or jewelry. Not to mention, she is requiring us to have certain hairstyles, which would require hair extensions, which would cost me at least $200. Financially, this is becoming too much for me. I now agree to be her bridesmaid, and will fulfill my duties during the wedding. However, going to Chicago and spending all that money is something I am no longer willing or able to do. I won't be asking back my portion of the Airbnb because that was my contribution I made willingly. I have yet to tell her that I won't be going to Chicago, but I am the asshole for not going? Up until now, I have attended and participated in every way as a bridesmaid and been there when she needs me, but the trip is too much. Verdict, not the a-hole. Relevant comments. Commenter. Info. Did you talk to her about it becoming a financial burden for you? And if so, did she try to accommodate some of the costs for you? Up. I have talked to her about the change in my financial situation mostly because of a job change and also unexpected health costs for a health condition. She did help with the dress alterations by sending me $50, so that made my contribution $200. Every help counts, and I deeply appreciate it. However, it still doesn't change that Chicago is a stretch for me. Commenter. NTA, those are outrageous demands. Who is this chick? Is she super wealthy? Up. Let's just say the wedding costs way more than the down payment for a big house. Commenter. Wow, that's insane. I assume you're still going to the wedding, right? Did you tell bride you're not going on the trip? Edit, wait, no. I reread. I see you haven't asked. How do you think she will react? Up. Yes. I'm still part of the wedding, and I will doing everything that is local until then. I am helping with the wedding shower with the other bridesmaids as well. I have yet to tell her because I do feel guilty for not going, but also I'm overwhelmed by it all. And I don't think she'll be happy, and it might be a little uncomfortable for a while. But I hope she will see that if I could do it, I would. Update. For my friend's 3-day wedding, I had to buy 3 different dresses, including alterations and specific shoes, which totaled over $700. She also wanted specific hairstyles for each day. Unfortunately, starting in March, my hair started to deteriorate. Due to health reasons, my hair was falling out in chunks, and in May I made the difficult decision to cut my hair. I told the bride about my decision 2 weeks before the wedding, and she didn't say anything bad. The following week, she came over to my house, and when she was about to leave, she brought up that she was concerned about my haircut, and I told her it would look good even though I wouldn't be uniform with the other bridesmaids. The following day, I received this message. After our recent conversations, I'd like to remind you of my boundaries. I've been very accommodating and graceful, but I can't allow you to disrespect me. As you know, my wedding has been something I've dreamt of for many years. Husband and I have invested a lot of money into the video and photos of this day, and as we reflect on this day in the further, we want to see our vision reflected in the memories. Since I asked each of you to be bridesmaid in 2019, I've been very clearly and very communicative in my request. The timing of your decision to cut your hair and not income in advance is very upsetting to me. I would have felt respected if you had communicated with me more than a week prior to the wedding, so we could have worked together to find a collaborative solution. Your inconsistencies have concerned me, and while I sympathize with your health concerns, I'm not willing to compromise my vision to accommodate you or anyone else when you have informed me in advance, and we could have found a better solution. Since this is something you can no longer fully commit to, I need you to please step down from participating in my wedding. This was 3 days before the wedding. I immediately sent her and her husband an invoice asking them to reimburse for the dresses and shoes, keeping in mind that one of the dresses is still in her possession even though I paid for it. Neither of them replied, and so I decided to take it to court. I was told I was inconsistent and selfish after I spent the past 2 weeks helping her plan the wedding shower. I worked with another bridesmaid to surprise her with a bridal shower after our bachelorette trip had to be canceled. I spent hours helping her out with wedding details. When she asked me to help her tone up before the wedding, I sent her a personalized workout program and even went with her to the gym to show her the ropes. When I agreed to be her bridesmaid, I was more than willing to oblige with what she asked, even if at times it was a lot of time and money. So, am I the asshole for taking her to court because she kicked me out for cutting my hair? Verdict, not the asshole. Relevant comments. Commenter. I'm very sorry about your health situation, Op and TA. This is not how a friend would treat another friend, and a supposedly valued one at that, since she asked you as a bridesmaid. I'm also sorry you found out this way this woman is not your friend. Op. That's honestly what sucks the most. I thought our friendship was much deeper than that. The fact that she was at the house the night before for 3 hours just hanging out, talking, and helping her with wedding stuff just to receive this the next day. I know for sure I don't want her in my life, but that doesn't negate that she's someone I love, cared for, and all the memories of our friendship. Commenter. NTA. Since when is cutting your own hair crossing someone's boundaries? Feels like she wants her bridesmaids to be carbon copies of each other. This girl is going to be a real pickle for her husband. Gonna suck to be him. Good luck on the lawsuit. Make sure you add up everything you've spent towards this wedding. Op. She's definitely a handful. As much as I would love to ask for all the money back, which comes up to almost $2,000, I decided to just ask for the money spent on dresses, dress alterations, and shoes because I can't use them for anything. They aren't my style, and selling them will be hard because they've been altered to my body. Commenter. Info. Is your hair much shorter as you said in a comment, or did you buzz your head completely? Are we talking pixie cut or military? Either way, I don't think you're the asshole, but I understand your friend not wanting a literally bald bridesmaid. It's extremely materialistic of her to appreciate looks over your feelings, but if that is who she is, then don't be surprised she doesn't want a single bald head standing out in her wedding photos. She doesn't care about you. Op. Nope, I'm not bald. It's more of a tapered cut. For info, I am black and have coarse hair. Commenter. NTA, I'm not sure that you will win. Though if you file in small claims and she ignores it, then you win by default. Op. I did file in small claims and I believe she has been served. No court date yet because of COVID, but we shall see. Commenter. Even if you don't win, the look on the judge's face when she tries to explain herself will be quite something. Op. Honestly, that's a big reason why I'm taking her court. I want to hear her explain herself because I never got anything besides gaslighting and being called inconsistent and disrespectful. I want to see what ridiculous reasoning she's come up with. Was there a contract? There's no contract or verbal contract. I had obliged to every single thing she wanted. Dresses, shoes, makeup, jewelry. The last day of the wedding was a Monday, so even took off work. The only thing was my hair. I physically could no longer do any of the hairstyles, and wigs are just too expensive, and because of how much I had already spent, I couldn't afford one. Update 1 year later. This has been a long time coming. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, asking what the results of the case have been. Unfortunately, I can no longer post comments on my previous post as well. I figured I would wait until everything was done to update everyone all at once. In December 2021, I got the notification that a court date had been set for February 7th, 2022. It would be virtual, and since it's small claims, we would represent ourselves. I began gathering my evidence and created a virtual file which I shared with the court and her 7 days before the hearing. On the day, she did show up. We were given the chance to settle, but that was unsuccessful. When we returned to the hearing, I found out she also had made a virtual file with her evidence, but never shared it with me. The court then made her share it, and what a surprise I had. She had copied my entire format for presenting evidence. Keep in mind that this is a format I created. She didn't even have the decency or brain cells to make something up herself. The hearing proceeded, and we were both given a chance to share our side. I won't go into the details of it, but it took probably 10 to 15 minutes. In my state, they do not give you the verdict right away, and can take up to 90 days. And so, I waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. Then yesterday, May 5th, almost 90 days after, I got a verdict. I won. She has been ordered to pay me the total of $808.94 for the dresses and shoes. I have to return 2 dresses and shoes I have to her. The verdict goes into effect May 30th. I don't see her appealing it, or fingers crossed she doesn't. All in all, I am very happy with the outcome, and so ready to close this chapter. Thank you to everyone who has been so invested in this with me. I hope this was the season finale you were looking forward to. P.S. My hair and health are doing much better. My 3 bald spots are growing again and I couldn't be happier. Relevant comments. Commenter. You'll probably not see this, but just in case, in your original post you said, honestly, that's a big reason why I'm taking her court. I want to hear her explain herself because I never got anything besides gaslighting and being called inconsistent and disrespectful. I want to see what ridiculous reasoning she's come up with. So, did she give any explanation? Nope. It was still the gaslighting and being called inconsistent and disrespectful. She never gave a proper explanation. Commenter. Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad you got your money back and your health has improved. What type of evidence did Bride bring forward for her case? I talked to a lawyer friend of mine who said I should show that I never broke any contract or terms for being in bridesmaid, i.e. I was never inconsistent, didn't show up to events, etc., and evidence of purchases. All the receipts for dresses, shoes, and dress alteration. 2. Conversations between the bride and I dating back to March 2021 showing that I mentioned my hair problems. 3. Proof that she never said if I couldn't do the hairstyles, I couldn't be in the wedding. 4. Proof of being there for almost events including planning and holding multiple ones. That's the basic rundown of the categories, I would say. Commenter. But what did she have in her evidence file? So curious. It was so stupid. She had screenshots of our messages after I responded to her kicking me out. She also included screenshots of a reporter who reached out to her regarding my first Reddit post. And then screenshots showing me wearing a wig for my birthday, almost 3 months after the wedding, which was actually a birthday gift for my sister. The screenshots of my birthday was weird because she blocked me on Instagram. And she also included screenshots of my Instagram story and Twitter because I was sharing this story as it was happening. Not sure what she thought that evidence would do because I have every right to post on my socials what I want. Commenter. Can I ask what reporter reached out to her? Or from where they were so I can search the article? I know a reporter reached out to her cause she tried to use the messages between them as evidence. I would love to share those, but they are not mine to share and I don't want to overstep and share personal conversations.